Begin in child's pose. Allow yourself to take a few deep breaths, letting the shoulders soften, the stomach expand as it presses against the thighs, the kidneys and hips release. Allowing yourself to return to an intention for your practice today, preparing you for a strong strength building sequence. Inhale, reaching the hands forward, stretching the spine nice and long as you try to keep the hips towards the heels, slowly walking the fingers away, opening up through the shoulders. Coming up onto the fingertips, maybe you start to walk over to the right side, maybe lifting the head off the ground to get a nice stretch along the left side body. Breathe deeply here. Reaching that left hand a little bit further away and trying to sink through the left hip. Inhale as you make your way back into center and then over to the left side. Now reaching the right hand away and sinking through right hip. Breathe deeply. Coming back through center, taking a big stretch forward, again lengthening the spine, keeping the hips towards the heels, still in our child's pose. And maybe gently rocking the head side to side, supporting it with the earth. And coming back to center, slowly walking the hands up, making your way into a tabletop position, taking some gentle movements, rocking forwards and backwards. In the beginning, let those movements open up into a child's pose and high cobra. We're inhaling as we come forward and exhaling back, starting to feel some more activation in the spine as you come forward. Drop the hips down, maybe finding a slight bend in the elbow if it's possible, and then pressing back into that child's pose. Back and forth here while you breathe deeply. And making your way into a tabletop position. I'm going to start by finding some spinal waves. So this is pretty similar to a cat-cow, but I want you to feel this movement starting at the top of the head and traveling down the spine. So there's always movement. You're trying to segment each portion as we kind of shift through these cat-cows in a wave-like motion. Starting it from the top of the head, working its way down the spine, and then back from the top of the head as you open up. This will be a theme throughout our class and a few different postures later down. This is a time to really play with this movement and see how isolation of this wave works. You can start to drop down into a knees, chest, chin and roll forward and then swing back into a cobra. So from that knees, chest, chin, we're dropping the chin towards the earth, rolling the face along the ground while the rest of the spine rolls out, And then we open the chin forward and up. We're not quite into a cobra, but we are feeling a little bit of upper back engagement at the top of the mat. And then it's a slide back into that knees, chest, chin position. Next time you're in that knees, chest, chin, just settle out there for a moment, letting the chest sink down and chin, feeling those all 8 points, toes, knees, chest, hands, and chin on the ground. And slowly make your way back to tabletop. Take a little bit of release, and then begin to roll the neck out, making big circles in each direction, breathing while you move through this movement. It can be back and forth, it can be a few times in one direction and then a few times in the other. Just letting go of any tension that you have while you explore your range of motion today in the neck. And then begin to roll the shoulders out, kind of dropping the torso towards the ground and then forward, just playing a bit with that circular motion with the hands on the ground. You can do a little one after the other. Warming up the wrists as well. You can rock forwards and backwards or turn the top of the hand onto the ground, palm facing up to rock forward and backwards, switching side to side. And then tucking the toes, press back to a downward facing dog. Pedaling your dog out once you get there to release hamstrings and calves. And open up the hips some. Breathe deeply. Still keeping our movement a little bit softer. Still warming up the body to prepare us for some strength coming in a moment. And settle into that downward facing dog and find a gentle spinal wave here from the tailbone to the top of the head. Here you'll start to lift the shoulders a little bit forward on the mat and then release them back into that downward facing dog. You can start to make that wave bigger as you come into a high plank, almost drop through a bear plank, then to that downward dog, sweeping in a big circular motion with the hips and a bit with the knees as well. You can try moving in the other direction, dropping through bear plank first and then swinging forward and then back to that downward facing dog. Drop the knees towards the ground. Coming up onto the shins, bring the upper body up and find some spinal waves here. You can feel this coming from the hips or from the head, feeling the chest really open up towards the sky, almost like you're going to be dropping back into a camel pose, but controlling that movement. It can be bigger, and notice if it comes more back, you're focusing more on that extension or able to find some flexion. You can try moving the other direction, starting it from the hips or the head, switching one way to the other. And then gently just coming back to a neutral spine, twist side to side. And then plant the hands on the ground back into a tabletop position, preparing for bird dogs. Right hand will reach forward, left leg will reach back. Starting first with the crunch, knee and elbow pull towards each other as you exhale, and you inhale to expand outwards. Exhale as you draw in, Inhale, out. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Now lifting the heel and hand up, trying to keep them straight, engaging the back muscles, pulsating up and down. And then we'll catch the foot if it's possible for you, or you keep with those pulsing motions. Lifting the foot up towards the sky, feel that engagement in the back of the spine. Release the leg and prepare for the other side. Left hand forward, right leg back. First with those crunches as you exhale in and inhale out. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now those pulsations up, lifting heel and hand towards the sky. And then either keeping with those pulsations or grabbing a hold of the foot. Lifting the foot up towards the sky as you press the top of the foot into the hand to help you open through the shoulder. And then slowly release. Take a little bit of counter here, some release. Whatever movements you feel, maybe some barrel rolls, a few times in each direction. Maybe it's just some cat-cows. Maybe you find that spinal wave again. Tucking the toes, make your way back to a downward facing dog. Take a breath here. And then reach the left leg up towards the sky for a three-legged dog. Then we're going to roll the hip open and back. If you want, you can bend the knees. So you kind of have this flag in the sky, rotating the knee to face down and then out to the left side. Feeling that hip shift, particularly in the right hip here while you breathe deeply. And lower the foot down and prepare for the other side, lifting that right leg up. And then begin to make those hip shifts, keeping the legs straight or bending at the knee, whatever feels more comfortable for you, to feel that left hip opening out and closing as you move the right hip through space. And lower the leg down, take a breath here, maybe a pedal of the heels, and then bring the right foot forward for low lunge. Bring the hands to the hip, and then begin to straighten that front leg and drop the hips down, kind of pulsing into that low lunge while you breathe deeply. And then release into the low lunge. Really try to drop the hips and then the hands to the ground. Preparing for some high lunge lifts. We'll tuck the back toe, lift the knee off the ground, really firm through the feet, and lower the knee down and up a few times. Breathing deeply, feel the engagement of the legs, making adjustments as you need. And then we're going to swing all the way out into a skandasana. So we're trying to drop those hips towards the ground, lifting the left toes up towards the sky. That left hand can make some big swings all the way around, or you can keep it a bit more stable on the mat. And then rotating the other way, I want you to drop the left hip towards the ground, adjust the right foot, reach the right hand towards the left foot, pressing the right hand in. Inhale as you lift the hips high, the right arm up overhead. Exhale down and inhale up. Breathing deeply, feeling that left foot firmly engaged with the ground. As you open those hips, coming back through center, walk the hands, maybe straighten through that right leg to give you a little release of a forward fold. You can lift that left leg up for a standing split for just a moment and then plant it back on the ground. We're going to prepare for some kickstand squats so that back knee will land just behind the heel, hands on the hips. You inhale to stand up and exhale to tap that knee to the ground. If you don't make it all the way down, that's okay. We just want to feel that engagement of the legs while you breathe deeply. And then we're going to lower down, hover the knee off the ground, holding the squat, reach the hands forward, breathe deeply, feel the engagement in both of the legs, and release the hands to the ground, step back to a plank, drop through knees, chest, chin, to cobra, and then downward dog. We're bringing the left leg forward for a low lunge, dropping the back knee and untucking the toes. Hands comes to the hips. Inhale, and then exhale, sink forward and down. Inhale as you almost straighten that front leg, and exhale down. Pulsating here, forward into that low lunge while you breathe deeply. And then release into the low lunge, drop the hands to the ground. Tuck the back toe, preparing for those high lunge lifts. Knee will lift up and lower down. Breathing deeply here. Feel the legs engage, make adjustments in your position as you need to. Continue to reach the top of the head forward. Then we'll begin to swing the hips around into our side lunge, our skandasana. Back and forth, hands can stay planted or that right hand can swing along to almost touch the right toes. Back and forth here between high lunge and skandasana. That front foot is angling forwards and off to the side as you need. And then dropping the right hip to the ground, planting the left foot, organizing that foot in space. Left hand reaches towards the right leg, pressing the right hand in. Inhale, open up through the left side, lifting the hips, and exhale, drop down. Inhale, up, and exhale, down. Breathe deeply while you continue with these movements. And then swinging back around, straightening that left leg, coming into that standing split for a moment. And then dropping the right foot to the ground, preparing for our kickstand squats. Hands come to the hips. Exhale, we're going to lower down, and inhale to lift up. Just trying to smooth that breath out while we go through our reps here. And then we'll prepare for that hold. We're dropping that knee down a little bit, keeping it hovering off the ground, eventually reaching the hands forward in front of you, feeling that firm engagement of the legs to hold you steady here. And then step it forward into a plank, drop through knees, chest, chin, cobra, and downward dog. Deep breaths. Walking the feet forward. Allow yourself to ragdoll towards the earth. Letting the hands and shoulders relax. Let the head be nice and heavy. And then with a slight bend in the knees, rounding through the spine, slowly stack vertebra on top of vertebra, making your way all the way to a Tadasana position, nice and slow until you stack the head on top of the shoulders. Bring interlaced hands behind the back, pressing the palms together, open the heart. First chin to chest as you open up, and then drop the head back. And fold forward towards the ground. Chin and chest are leading. Hands might reach up overhead, opening the shoulders. Letting the spine decompress here with that bind. And then we release the hands, little bend in the knees. We're going to swing up into an extended halfway lift, reaching the palms forward, the spine straight forward, shifting the hips back. Maybe a micro bend in the knees. Inhale, come up. Release the hands to behind the back into a bind. Open up through the chest, the chin, letting the head drop back. Fold forward into our bound forward fold. Releasing the hands, our extended halfway lift. Maybe a bend in those knees, maybe they're straight. Open up through the spine, breathe deeply. Inhale, reach up. And release the hands down. Planting firmly in the right foot, bend the left knee. Preparing for dancer. We're going to grab a hold of that left foot with left hand. Pressing the top of the foot into the hand, begin to extend that left leg. I like right hand at heart center to help me feel that center balance. And as you begin to extend the left leg, maybe the right arm reaches its way up towards the sky. If it's comfortable for you, you try to lift the toes up as you hinge forward in the hips. Firm through the right leg. Slowly release. Bending that knee, trying to keep it off the ground. Interlace the hands as you hug the knee nice and close towards the chest. Release the foot to the ground. Prepare for the other side. Left foot firmly planting into the ground. Right hand grabs right foot when you are ready. Left hand might come to heart center. Foot pressing into the hand. You extend that leg back, engaging the back bend, opening up through the shoulder, reaching the left arm up overhead, if it is in your practice today, and hinging at the hips, trying to lift the toes up towards the sky. Breathe deeply. Feel that steadiness in the leg, hopefully. Slowly lower down when you are ready, releasing the posture, and then you bring that right knee all the way forward, interlaced hands around the knee to hug close. Slowly release the leg, shake things out if you need to. Step back a bit on your mat, heels are on the mat, toes might fall off, and make your way down into a malasana squat. Elbows to the insides of the knees. Maybe you shift a little side to side. Palms at prayer position in front of you to help open up the knees. We're preparing for crow here. Bring the knees up the arms, plant the hands firmly on the ground. Coming up onto the toes, lift the hips high. Press the knees into the triceps against the knees, and begin to bring the toes together. Keep the gaze forward while you lift those hips high. Drive through the hands. Think about that lift of crow and the squeeze of the knees of the core to help stabilize the posture. We're just trying to feel weight in the upper body, and then you can slowly lower down into a bit of a wide-legged forward fold, lifting the hips high. Come into a bit of a halfway lift here, walk the toes together, keeping hands on the ground or coming up to the shins. Nice long spine. And then a bend in the knees. We're swinging the hands forward, dropping the hips as low as you can. And then inhale, lift the hips high, halfway lift. Exhale into that narrow stance squat. Hands swing forward as a counterbalance. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, narrow squat, hands forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, narrow squat. Breathe deeply there, and then you can try to shift forward into a toe balance, bringing the heels off the ground. The spine is straight, so you have ankles over hips, or hips over ankles, shoulders over hips. Hands can come to heart center. And then slowly reaching forward, opening the knees, try to sit down on the ground, legs out in front, tailbone pressing into the ground, feet are flexed. Inhale, reach up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Deep breaths here. Use the calves, ankles, feet as a lever to lengthen the spine as you press the tailbone down. Finally, let the head release. Inhale as you sit up, lengthening the spine out of the posture, releasing the hands into a boat position, palms face up, heels might stay on the ground. As you hinge the hips backwards, you might lift the heels up. You might straighten the legs if it's comfortable. Try to feel that spine lengthening from the seat as you breathe deeply. You can release for a moment. If it's in your practice, you can come into a bound boat or back into that regular. For a bound boat, peace fingers around the toes, straightening one leg and the other. Press down through the tailbone, lift up through the chest. Use the hands to create some tension in the posture to help you hold the balance. Breathe deeply. Maybe you grab the outsides of the feet if it's comfortable for you, drawing the legs a little bit closer towards the chest. And then slowly release. Soles of the feet together, knees out to either side. For some butterflies, interlaced fingers around the toes. Opening up through the chest, bounce those knees. And then maybe scooting forward on your mat. You're going to release onto your back. Keeping feet flat for a moment. Just allow the spine to soften. Preparing for bridge, you might walk the heels closer to the hips, reaching fingertips towards the heels, or even grabbing hold of the ankles. Lift the hips high, open the chest, solar plexus, the hips. Feel the feet pressing into the ground, shifting some of the weight towards the shoulders. Maybe you lift the heels off the ground if you'd like. You can release for a moment as you exhale. And there's an option to come into wheel if it's in your practice, or staying in that bridge. Press the feet firmly down into the ground, open up through the chest, pressing the hands in, lift into wheel. Press the feet firmly into the ground, trying to shift the weight forward into the hands to help you open up the chest. You might bring chest to chin for a moment and then let it drop back down. Slowly lower out of the posture. Taking a release, maybe hugging the knees in towards the chest, one after the other, or both together. Rocking a bit side to side to give the low back a gentle massage. And then rocking up into a seated position to close our class. Once you come into your comfortable seated posture, allow yourself to settle down, letting go of tension in the body, centering the mind, and experiencing the effects of your practice today. Let the breath slow down. Send the breath towards the stomach. Bring hands to heart center. We'll close by chanting Om, Om Shanti. Om. 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 Om Shanti. 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 May be blessed with radiant joy, peace, prosperity, and abundant health. Om Shanti.